Happy New Year, even though it's almost a week into 2020. Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back. I'm going to be doing the top 5 of last year, 2019, a little bit differently than normal. And yes, I am still in my childhood bedroom. I will be for this video and the next video because I'm doing a little bit of pre-recording before I go back to LA. But today I'm going to be counting down my top 5 most surprising films of 2019, least favorite films of 2019, and favorite films of 2019. Normally I do each of these in their own separate video, but there's so many other videos that I want to make in January that I thought I would combine them all into one and then do my top 5 most anticipated films of 2020 next week. And if you want to see really hear a full list of all of the movies that I really loved, surprised by, or hated this year, or technically last year, you can check that out either at the beginning of the Christmas episode of my podcast, The Nostalgia Effect, or I don't remember. I will link the episode where we talk about our favorite and least favorite and most surprising films of 2019 in the description down below, not the podcast down below. The podcast will be linked down below. Or you can check tomorrow after this video goes live on my Patreon. I will be posting all of the movies that I loved, hated, and were surprised by in 2019. I also want to point out that as of recording this, there are a couple movies in 2019 that I still have not seen yet. That's Cats and Richard Jewell, but I will be seeing them before the end of 2019, literally on New Year's Eve. So it's not like that big of a deal, and I think total movies that I have watched this year after watching those two, at least new movies in the theater or on like Amazon Prime, it will be like 59, which I feel like is a little low, but I keep trying to build it up more and more each year. But let's get started with my top 5 most surprising films of 2019. Number 5 is Hustlers. I absolutely adored this movie. It was so much fun. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did, which is why it's on the surprise list. I thought it would just end up being more of a, I don't know, honestly, I don't know what I thought it would be, but I really loved the Goodfellas vibe that it gave off, just a female Goodfellas vibe. It worked really well. It did really well what it was set out to do. Plus, it had a killer female cast and was written and directed by an amazing female filmmaker as well. Number 4 is one that I did not do a video on, and that is Crawl. It is not an amazing movie by any means, but it is a very fun movie, and I was really surprised the entire time how much fun I had with it and how much I was laughing and how tense I was throughout the entire thing for some of these characters to get away from the alligators. Number 3 is Fighting with My Family. I did not think I would enjoy this one as much as I did either. I went into it with very little expectations. I had heard a lot of people saying that it was good, but it was also a movie with The Rock in it. The Rock produced it. Stephen Merchant wrote and I think directed it. He also has a very small role, but I absolutely had so much fun with this, and this is the movie that made me really see Florence Pugh. Like, I did not know who she was before watching this movie, and I absolutely fell in love with her, and she's probably the reason that I've been considering for the past like month and a half to actually watch Midsommar. I don't know, between that and Little Women, I'm kind of wanting to watch Midsommar just for Florence Pugh. Number 2 is Ready or Not. This one blew me away. It's another one kind of like Crawl, where it's not a fantastic movie by any means, but it's still a really great movie. It's well made, it's well directed, the actors are really great in it, but it is a lot of fun. It is a scary but funny movie. It's more of like, I wouldn't say it's like it is a comedy horror movie. It's very fun. I bought it on Blu-ray as soon as it was out, and I watched it I think 1.5 times already. That's how much I love it, and it's only been out for a couple weeks on Blu-ray. And number 1 is probably not a surprise to anyone, and that is Long Shot. I am not a big fan of romantic comedies. I'm not a big fan of Seth Rogen movies. I was really only going to see this originally because of Charlize Theron. I went into this not having very high expectations, and I fell in love with this movie. I bought it the day it came out on Blu-ray. I have watched it at least 3 or 4 times. It's well done. Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen are both really great in it, and if you have not seen it, I highly recommend it. And now we're gonna go from most surprising to my least favorite. There is a very small amount of films on here, surprisingly, but but they're here. So let's get to it. Number 5 is a movie that I was kind of excited for from the trailers, but when I went to see it, I had a very visceral hate reaction to it. And a lot of people that I know really love this movie, and that is Ad Astra with Brad Pitt. I just did not like anything about it. I felt, well, I mean, you could always watch my review of it if you really want to. There's an entire playlist. I'll link it up here if you really want to go and see my thoughts on most of these movies. There are some movies that are on these lists that I did not do a review for. Most of these will be in that playlist. But I, definitely really did not like Ad Astra. I really hated it, but not as much as I hated number 4, Gemini Man. I only saw this just for the sake of seeing it. Plus, there wasn't that many movies coming out in October, and I needed to do an entire month of movies in October, so I went and saw Gemini Man, and oh boy, the effects aren't as great as the trailers and everyone was saying. The de-aging on the little Will Smith is not that great. The story, the writing is so bad. The acting is okay. Will Smith does his Will Smith whatever. Mary Elizabeth Winstead was okay, but she wasn't like top tier. And my number 3 is one that I probably will not linger on too much because a lot of what I said is in my video for this movie, but that is the 2019 live action Lion King. Oh, there are so many issues I have with this movie, chiefly the fact that it's not live action. It's literally just a recreation of the original animated one, and I wish that this was never made and I could forget about it and just go watch the original animated Lion King instead. Number 2 is one that was actually a honorable mention at the beginning of last year. One of the movies that I was very excited for, and that is Men in Black International. I really was excited for this because I love the original, the first Men in Black, and I just, after I watched that trailer, I was really disappointed in it, and then I thought, you know what, maybe it'll redeem itself. Maybe this trailer it wasn't a great trailer, and it was a terrible movie. And everyone probably knows what my number 1 is, because it's probably, I think, my currently most disliked video on YouTube is Alita Battle Angel. I absolutely hated this. I will not linger on this movie anymore. If you want to see my thoughts on it, check out the review. It is in the playlist linked below or in the card, whatever site it's on. And now, my top 5 favorite movies of 2019. This one I am very excited for because these are movies that I cannot wait to go back to over and over and over again. Number 5 is Joker. This one, it made me think a lot for like a solid 2 weeks after it came out, after I saw it. This is all I could think about. Plus, it mixed 2 of my favorite Martin Scorsese movies, Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy. But the combination of those two, plus having Robert De Niro in there and Joaquin Phoenix's acting was so... The mix of everything is just so superb in this film. Number 4 is one that I cannot wait to watch the Blu-ray I just got of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was never a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino's movies. I really liked Kill Bill. I haven't liked any of the other ones that I've seen, but when I saw this movie, I absolutely fell in love with it. I don't know if it's just because of Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie, but its love story to the films and the film culture of Hollywood and just Hollywood in general in the 1970s is so well done and so well crafted, and you can tell that Quentin Tarantino wanted to do this to pay homage to his childhood. Number 3 is a film that I did not do a video on, but it holds a very special place in my heart, is The Farewell. It is a very personal movie for me, which is why I did not do a video on it, because I wanted it to be a movie that I watched for myself. I did take notes on it, and if you are a patron, those notes are up on Patreon, but there is a lot of pieces in that film. Even though it's about a Chinese family, I really connected with. It's just a great film. If you have not seen it, it is definitely going to be up for some Oscars. I almost guarantee it. Number 2 is also one that I did not do a video on. Like with The Farewell, it is a very special movie to me, and I wanted to kind of keep it to myself, and that is Greta Gerwig's Little Women. That movie is a beautiful masterpiece. It is a visual ballet. Greta Gerwig said that in an interview, that someone had said that to her about her films, and I totally agree. Everything just flows just so easily and beautifully together. She does such an amazing job of storytelling, and I cannot wait to see what she does in the future. Plus, the cast in this is just amazingly brilliant and beautiful, and you connect to all of the characters in different ways. And number one is a tie between Olivia Wilde's Booksmart and Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. I did videos on both of these, so if you want to hear my more extended thoughts on either of these films, they're in the playlist, linked wherever the playlist is linked. I absolutely love both of these films. I have rewatched Booksmart a couple times already since I bought it on Blu-ray, and Parasite comes out on Blu-ray in a couple weeks, and I will be purchasing it because I need to rewatch it as many times as I can. It is most likely going to be nominated, and I really hope win Best Foreign Film, because it's amazing. Both of them are so well done, and I can't wait to see Olivia Wilde direct another film, because she did such a great job on Booksmart, and the cast in Booksmart is great, the cast in Parasite is great, the writing is great on both of those films, the directing is great in both of those films, and they're films that, to this day, since I have seen them, like Joker, I thought about Joker for like 2 weeks straight. I still have not stopped thinking about Booksmart or Parasite. If anybody asks me what movies do I need to see, I always tell them to watch Parasite or Booksmart, especially Booksmart. I think that might be like my number one, but I could not not put Parasite on here, and I love the other 4 movies on this list so much that I couldn't just kick them off. But if you have not seen either of them, please go see them. But those are my top 5 favorites, hates, and surprising movies. Let me know your top 5 or 3 or whatever favorites, surprised, whatever, in the comments down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really truly do appreciate you. Whoever you are, let me know here in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I love talking these movies, TV shows, filmmaking, history, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye.